Hi, so this is Group 7's presentation for horse slaughter for Animals and Society, Section 12. Our group members are Melissa Garcia C., Mahala Lewis, Manuel Flores, and Evan Infante.
History and background. Slaughtering horses for meat became a thing in the United States in the 1970s. However, culturally consuming meat and slaughtering horses isn't a norm in American culture, so the slaughtering and packaging of meat was intended to provide for foreign interests, for example in countries like Canada and Mexico. Although horse meat isn't something usually eaten in the United States, the consumption of it dates back to over 400,000 years ago. To provide to the industry, slaughterhouses were given some horses that weren't able to compete in races and auctions anymore, and ones that were severely injured. Along with this, people would give the slaughterhouses horses due to overbreeding. In 2006, the American Horse Slaughter Prevention Act was introduced but soon after died. This ultimately led to states passing bans on horse slaughter, also cutting off federal funding that would be allowing the USDA to inspect horses for meat, leading to the ending of horse slaughterhouses.
The controversy of horse slaughter. The debate over horse slaughter in the U.S. is complex and highly controversial, touching on the issues of animal welfare, economics, and cultural practices. Legalizing horse slaughter provides a humane solution for managing the population of unwanted horses. Without this option, many horses face neglect, abandonment, and starvation. Slaughter, when conducted with proper regulations and oversight, can ensure that horses are treated humanely and with dignity up until the end of their lives. This approach is far more compassionate than allowing horses to suffer from neglect or inadequate care. Opposing sides argue that horse slaughter is inhumane and that there are better alternatives for managing the population of unwanted horses. They believe that horses, as unwanted companions, deserve the same protections as pets like dogs and cats, and that slaughter is a cruel and unnecessary end for these animals. Opposing sides also advocate that increased funding and support for horse rescue organizations, sanctuaries, and adoption programs, which can provide safe and loving homes for horses in need or in danger of slaughter. Opposing sides happen to overlook several issues. The capacity of horse rescue organizations and sanctuaries are limited, and they are often overwhelmed by the number of horses that are needing care. Without the option of slaughter, many horses happen to go neglected, abandoned, and they end up starving. Additionally, managing the population through adoption programs alone is not sufficient enough due to the sheer number of horses and the financial burden that it places on individuals and organizations that are in control of protecting the horses. Lastly, horse meat is highly nutritious as it is leaner than beef and contains lower levels of fat. It is also rich in protein and is a good source of iron, which is great for the human body.
Different reasons why horse slaughter should be banned, but in this case, these are reasons why horse slaughter should not be banned. Horse slaughter should not be banned because in many cultures, horse meat is a traditional food, and banning the horse slaughter would disrespect those cultural practices. Legalizing horse slaughter could help eliminate illegal and unregulated slaughter practices that are inhumane. This prevents horses from more harm. That kind of gives an idea of if you have horses that are ill, horses that, can't walk, or just are in no need, that would be legalized. Legal slaughtering of horses offer a controlled and monitored end of life option for horses, ensuring that their welfare is considered until the end. Legalizing horse slaughter can create jobs and generate revenue through the sale of horse meat, which is a delicacy in some countries. This way, horse meat will cost higher prices in those countries, bringing in more money. Slaughter helps also to control the overpopulation of horses, especially horses who are neglected, suffering, or wounded. Why even have the horses alive if those reasons are that they're going through those reasons? It also ensures that horses utilized fully and not being wasted. Properly disposing of horse carcasses through slaughter is more environmentally friendly than other methods.
The ethical aspects. Legalizing horse slaughter in the U.S. raises ethical considerations that emphasize animal welfare, reducing suffering, and promoting responsible resource use. A regulated industry could provide a humane end-of-life option for horses that are neglected, abandoned, or unwanted. This approach would prevent the suffering of horses that are left to endure starvation or diseases due to owners' inability to care for them. Legal horse slaughter in the U.S. could ensure higher welfare standards, preventing horses from being exported to countries with less strict regulations where inhumane practices may occur. From an environmental standpoint, a regulated system would allow for the ethical and safe disposal of horse remains, minimizing environmental harm. Utilizing horses for meat or other byproducts ensures that resources are not wasted, which aligns with the principles of sustainability.
Cultural importance of horse slaughter. Horses were slaughtered back then and even during World War One due to meat shortages. Horses are also slaughtered and consumed in many different countries such as Japan, Austria, Belgium, and etc. Horses were also slaughtered back then around the 14th century AD and before as sacrifice for funeral rites. The owner's horses were buried separately from the owner or with each other.
There are different ethical and social divisions in the way people see horse slaughter. Horse slaughter brings to the forefront significant social divides, which some view in it as a necessary practice for managing surplus horses, while others condemn it as a cruel and inhumane treatment of animals. Advocates from animal rights groups argue that slaughtering horses violates ethical principles of animal welfare, sparking debates about how societies should treat animals and whether humans have a moral responsibility to protect them from harm. These contrasting views not only influence public opinion but also shape legislative policies, contribute to ongoing discussions about the broader ethical obligations humans have toward animals in modern society.
Current events. So, as of 2007, when the slaughterhouses were completely shut down across the United States, there have not been any recent legal cases of slaughtering horses for meat. However, there have been a lot of activities where the horses are shipped off to foreign countries for shelter. These foreign countries include places like Canada and Mexico, where horse meat is considered to be a delicacy. Horses selected for this are usually the ones that are either in really bad condition and can't be used for races or other beneficial factors, or they're chosen due to the fact that horse owners need to get rid of overbreeding. During horse races and auctions, horses are sold as usual, but on the sidelines there are kill buyers that will go and they'll buy the horses in the background. So although selling horse meat for consumption is illegal, these activities aren't entirely illegal because you are allowed to sell horses to other countries. The problem that comes with this, though, is that it leads to trailer-to-trailer trading and poor treatment of horses. It also leads to schemes where sellers will ask for donations to save the horses. So if horse slaughter were to be legalized again, we would be able to prevent the poor treatment and find a more humane way to go about selling horse meat.
Why people should be for horse slaughter. To prevent an overpopulation of horses because they could cause welfare risks. Their meat contains high nutritional value because they have high levels of unsaturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids, these as being linoleic, which is good for human nutrition.
The statistical analysis of horse slaughter trends. Statistical trends suggest that legalizing horse slaughter in the U.S. could provide a humane, regulated alternative to current practices and address critical issues in the equine industry. After the closure of horse slaughterhouses in the U.S. in 2007, Over 20,000 horses annually were transported to Canada and Mexico for slaughter, often enduring long, stressful transport conditions that undermine animal welfare standards. Legalizing horse slaughter in the U.S. could restore local economies. The lack of domestic processing has led to financial losses, particularly in border regions that rely on equine industries. For example, Mexican horse slaughter facilities have reported declining revenue due to reduced exports and European demand. By reintroducing slaughter domestically, these economic gaps could be addressing, potentially providing jobs and revenue, while keeping operations under strict regulatory oversight.
Horse slaughter practices globally. These are the legal approaches on horse slaughter. There's different countries, there's different third world countries that are used many different ways. Horse slaughter is, legal. United States, first off, horse slaughter for human consumption was banned in 2007, though it was later de facto reinstated through loopholes and foreign exports. However, the U.S. has no federal laws prohibiting the slaughter of horses for meat, and there is significant debate over whether it should be allowed or banned again. In Canada, horse slaughter is legal and horses are sent to specialized slaughterhouses for human consumption, primarily for export to countries like Japan and Belgium. The practice is regulated by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to ensure humane slaughter. In Mexico, horses are slaughtered for export, often under controversial conditions. Mexico's lack animal welfare laws contribute to concerns about inhumane treatment and lack of oversight in slaughterhouses.
Positive economical horse contributions. So bringing back horse slaughterhouses could actually be really beneficial in many ways economically. I listed 3 reasons. The first reason being that bringing back these slaughterhouses, it could provide more jobs. This would help to give anyone who's qualified and in search of a job a way to bring in income for themselves and their families. My second reason is that bringing back these slaughterhouses could also help increase revenue. The slaughterhouses that were up and running before being shut down back in 2007, they brought in millions of dollars annually. My third reason is this also would help to provide money to horse owners. Taking care of horses is a very pricey process, and many owners can only afford to uphold a certain number of horses. And with overbreeding, it's going to get harder and harder with the inclining amount of horses being bred.
Safe horse slaughter practices prioritize minimizing suffering, maintaining ethical standards, and ensuring humane treatment throughout the process for horses. A critical component of this approach is the humane transportation of horses to slaughter facilities. Regulations require that horses are transported with adequate space, ventilation, and access to water to reduce stress and injury. Travel times are also limited, and transport personnel must be properly trained to handle animals in a calm and respectful manner. Once at the slaughter facility, proper handling and stunning procedures ensure that horses are treated with dignity. The Humane Methods of Slaughter Act, HMSA, mandates that animals, including horses, are rendered insensible to pain before slaughter. Facilities designed specifically for horse slaughter often incorporate systems that minimize stress, such as quiet environments and efficient handling processes. Lastly, facilities must be inspected regularly by regulatory agencies, such as the USDA, to ensure compliance with humane treatment standards.
Horse slaughter facts and statistics. 80% of horses sent to slaughter are healthy and can be adopted with proper care and resources. This shows that slaughter is often a convenient but unnecessary solution. In the U.S., approximately 100,000 to 150,000 horses are sent to slaughter every year. Reasons for slaughter. The majority of horses sent to slaughter are not old or ill, but are often horses that are no longer useful for racing, sport, or breeding. Other horses may be slaughtered due to financial reasons, such as owners who cannot afford to care for them. Horses that are injured or too sick to be sold or used for other purposes also end up being slaughtered. Some end up in slaughterhouses because of overbreeding, which results in an excess of unwanted or unsellable horses.
Informed opinion and summary. Horse slaughter happens in many different countries, no matter what. Countries that allow horse slaughter is Canada, Mexico, Japan, Belgium, etc. They slaughter these animals for consumption. In the US, specifically California, it is banned. The debate whether or not horse slaughter will continue will be long. Others view the slaughter as a way to gain meat for protein and reduce the horse population, while others believe that it's unnecessary or cruel to the horses. Horse slaughter should be legal in the United States because horse meat provides nutritional benefits to humans as well as help with population control of horses.
These are all of our cited references.